What are the different levers that people can maximize in any sort of job negotiation? Because now that I have this recruiting company too, I talk to some of the candidates, and what I notice is people are often very bad at picking like what game they're playing. And I think the worst game you can play is to not maximize for any one of the three or four that are out there. It's just to kind of like, I don't know, almost spray and pray with your chips on like, yeah, I kind of want the title, kind of want the equity. I also want a high base, and you can't always get all of them.
Before we even go through all of these examples, like a lot of the conversation today is going to assume people stay in tech. I have met a number of people that have said, "Hey, like I'm passionate about climate change or I'm passionate about X. Now is a chance to actually like try to pivot my career to use the skills I have from tech, but go into a field that like even if the equity isn't worth anything, I feel like it's more aligned to like my vision, my values." And so I do want to say like that is a very real path, and I'm personally seeing more of that right now.
Wait, that's a good zig, real quick. If we can, yeah, we can do this whenever we want. What are some examples of this? Nobody zagged into audit, right?
Yeah, no one was like, I've been helping people my whole life, and now I just want to make sure audits are as compliant as possible. I have a friend, he was in consulting with me. He then worked in tech when I was working in tech. And then he decided like he wanted to go work at a climate change startup because he felt like the work was a lot more meaningful. All of the hours he would stress he was going to put in, you're like, yes, he would be well paid for from a salary perspective, but really he was feeling like the work was meaningful above and beyond the compensation. And being able to have that meaning, I think means the equity piece, it's just all upside. It's all gravy because you're much more passionate and you're generally working with people who are also passionate about the work you're doing. And so it doesn't need to be like climate tech, but some folks are just looking at industries that are more relevant for like what they want to do. Maybe they're going into media, like a solopreneur lifestyle where they're kind of freelance and working with multiple clients, but also able to be a digital nomad or like just move somewhere that's a lower cost city and just like have more flexibility in their life. Like now it's sort of it's like an interesting reshuffling moment right now. I do have to say, it is a good time to not live in San Francisco. I don't have Boston friends that work in tech. None of my neighbors. I'm in like this really hippie green neighborhood in Boston. And I don't meet a tech worker. I feel like if I looked like I work in tech, I would get like made fun of for that. It's a lot of people that work at nonprofits. Education is huge in Boston, obviously. Healthcare, pharma is big in Boston. So I meet like smart, accomplished people, but just not people that work in AI.
Dude, I'm recording this from like a retirement home in Naples, Florida. Not only am I the only person who works in tech, I'm the only person on this Monday working.
Oh man. We want to talk about like advice we'd give or just helping people that are in this great reshuffling, that are thinking about what to do with their career and how to make the right decision, or at least a decision they're going to be happy with. One thing that comes to mind for me right now is like, do you go work at that fast growing AI company where your equity could be worth a ton of money, right? Or do you stick it out at that maybe SaaS company that is more at scale, more stable, but valuations have come down and it's nowhere near what it used to look like?
What I go through are the different levers to maximize within the example you just gave, right? Because they're going to be different, and we can use your example as like a scaffold for it. So the first one is you can maximize on your total equity comp, like the potential for the outcome there. So that would be the play to join like an Anthropic or something, right? Actually, probably would have had to do it like 3 or 4 years ago.
It's worth like what, $1 trillion right now. So how much upside is there going to be in this thing?
It's up like 45% in the last like 6 weeks. So who knows? I was on the street corner in San Francisco with my buddy, and he's like, I have an opportunity to put $25,000 into OpenAI, but it's at $85 billion. I'm like, bro, no way this thing can go any higher. Man, woo, I think you're going to top tick it.
Did you see the rumors that they were thinking about a reverse auction model? I don't know if this is real or fake, but I saw some tweets about it. They were looking to see if it was like legal to do a reverse auction where they'd start at a really high price, see how much demand was there, and then steadily drop the valuation to like incrementally get more and more. I need to verify if that's real.
Well, that warms my finance heart if they are. I'm more of a Dutch auction guy myself. That's one lever you can pull. The next one is your base cash comp. Like, I just want to print a massive effing W-2. And it's a lot easier to do that at a company that is like steady Eddie going along, maybe not growing 100%, but it's like over 500 million in revenue, and you can take on a big title.
And when you're thinking about that, is that salary plus bonus, just kind of cash?
Salary plus bonus, something that is going to print and go to your bank account at the end of the year that will be liquid, right? There's a calendar event towards it. You get paid every 2 weeks, and then you get a bonus at the end of the year. You can maximize that. So that could be a late stage startup. And then the third one is the title and the opportunity to just go and prove yourself and like take on way more than like a reasonable person would trust you with. And I think within each of these three, there are different types of companies and different settings that you have to keep an eye out for in order to maximize them.
You missed a pretty big thing to optimize for, CJ.
Equity, cash, title/experience. What are you gonna say, like lifestyle or some bullshit like that?
Your token allowance. And that actually does seem to be a real thing for engineers right now, which is so wild to me. But no, I mean, okay, those are all very real considerations. I do think that lifestyle and like, is the CEO that you're going to be working for, like, are you philosophically aligned with them? And are they charismatic? Are they someone that's reasonable? So you would mention like an ability to take on a lot of stuff and kind of grow in your role. I also think about like an ability to just have autonomy, hire people within your team versus are you doing everything yourself? I think there's like a lot that kind of gets into that. And to me, I've always been someone that's been willing to sacrifice comp for that like better lifestyle and better working environment, because I just don't feel like I'm going to do my best work otherwise.
At Veeam, I went for the W-2 because it was at a time in my life where I was like, I need some cash here to live in Boston and stuff. I didn't even have equity there. Didn't give any equity to really anybody except if you were in management. At Sneak, I went all for the equity and maxed that out. And in fact, I gave up some of my salary because they had like options at the time of where you could give up X thousands of dollars per year to get more equity. So I went all for the equity. And then at Parts Tech, I'm like, I just care about the title, baby. I just want to be a CFO. I want to be able to hire a team. I want someone to throw me the keys and just let me run around and do stuff. And I will take probably less money than someone who's a senior director at like, I don't know, I'm making it up, like a bigger later stage company would make. So it wasn't even about that. And there was some equity upside.
I thought you took that job because you wanted to work with me.
I did. You pressured me into it and you said, CJ, I will only recommend your Substack if you take the CFO position.
Hey, those extra subscribers are actually worth a lot.
It actually was. They were probably the best bet I made. If I risk adjust all of that, it was probably that. Ali and the team at Tabs are building something that directly addresses one of the biggest headaches I see finance teams deal with today. Pulling data from your ERP, your CRM, your FP&A tools, and your usage systems and actually making it all work together. If you're running usage-based pricing or complex contracts, you already know how this usually plays out. Contracts live in one system, usage data lives somewhere else, billing happens in another tool. RevRec gets layered on top at month end, and finance ends up just reconciling everything by hand to close the books. This is exactly the problem Tabs was built to solve. Tabs is an AI-native revenue platform built for controllers and CFOs. It brings together data from your ERP, CRM, and real product usage into a single system of record. From there, it automates billing, collections, and revenue recognition without finance having to duct tape workflows together every month. If usage-based revenue is core to your business, this is the future of how billing and RevRec get done. Go check them out at tabs.com/run. That's tabs.com/run.